This rule of three is used by million-dollar SMMAs for better prospecting, hiring, scaling, and I use it to grow my agency to over $200,000 a month. I had 35 employees, and I swear to you, if you use this rule of three, you'll make better decisions, you'll make better hires, you'll make more money for your business, and it's really, really quite simple to implement. But before I get into that, let me explain to you that I am the youngest of three. Now, I am also the most successful of the three. And if my parents only had one of us or two of us, they wouldn't have grandchildren right now. They wouldn't have peace of mind as well that if something happens to them financially, then I can take care of them. So ultimately what they did is they diversified, and they had three boys. And this is really the same rule that I want to share with you over here, that if you ultimately diversify yourself and you make sure that at any given time, whether it comes to hiring, whether it comes to prospecting, whether it comes to any decision you want to make, always, always, always have yourself three. Well, that's huge. I don't want it to be that big, but okay, it's important. So we'll go ahead and do it that way. Make sure you have three options. I'll make this smaller in a sec. So why three options? Why is that so important? The reason that's so important is because, oftentimes we suffer from what you would call recency bias, okay? That's what happens when you've gone ahead and you've seen something, like maybe a few months ago I was looking for an executive assistant, right? I was looking for an EA, right? And I already had an option in front of me, which was the wife of my media buyer, and she's great, and I've already met her, and I have a lot of trust with her already. I know that she wouldn't steal from me. I know that she, would be great. I could trust her with my passwords, and I could trust her with my credit card. But just because she was the first one that I interviewed, I decided not to move forward with her. In fact, I only hired someone about 2 months later after that first interview I had with the wife of my media buyer. I had a second candidate and a third candidate and a fourth candidate. These are not just candidates that applied. These are three strong options to move forward with and give this position to. Three strong options. It's the same thing when I traveled around the world and I wanted to find a place that would be a great place for our company to relocate to for strategic advantages, tax advantages, business opportunities, etc. Right? I was considering, this may sound crazy to you, but I was considering Pakistan. Since it's like a home ancestral land for me, that may be an advantage. I was considering the UAE, right? I went to the UAE, checked it out, stayed there for a bit. Heck, I even went to Morocco. I went everywhere, and then eventually I also went to Panama, right? So that's where we're going to be now. We're going to be moving to Panama, God willing. And ultimately, the three options gives me something to compare to. If I only have this one, I'm looking at maybe some of the good things, and I'm like, wow, these are great things, but I don't know if maybe the UAE or Panama has something even better to offer me, right? And conversely, even if I don't pick Pakistan as my place, I realize, man, it's actually really, really cool that Pakistan has some really dope advantages like labor and certain other freaking things that I can find for really, really cheap over there that I can't really find in the UAE or Panama. And I also see how far connections and network can take me in Pakistan versus in other places. So I always look for three options, always. And ultimately, that's how you should approach business too. Remember what I said, like $1 million SMMAs, that's what they do. They have three options or even more options, right? Three is almost in many ways like the bare minimum that I go with. Always have three options, right? Right now, I'm in the process of getting a bank account in Panama, three freaking options. Always three options. So if you apply this to your life, you'll never be disappointed. You'll never be disappointed in your business either, because ultimately in business, we don't want to make knee-jerk reaction decisions. We don't want to make decisions that are just freaking, shooting crap against the wall. And I've made many mistakes where I have actually hired people off of just the first interview, and I said, yeah, you're going to be a great sales rep, and I went through the entire process with them, and then they ended up accepting a job offer elsewhere, and they were just kind of stringing us along. And you never want to be in that position. Even when you have employees right now, you want to have other people in the bench, right? You want to have other people, like for example, my media buyer or even other executive assistants. Like I have people on the bench that I could call on if I need anything. If I need to switch out, someone gets like really sick or someone leaves all of a sudden or anything happens, man, like always have even clients, right? You should never have probably less than 3 clients. And I've learned that lesson the hard way, right? Anyone can leave at any moment and then boom, that's a third of your revenue or more than half of your revenue gone. So you want to make sure that you're always diversifying and make sure that you always have your butt covered. And that baby is the rule of 3. I'll see you in the comment section. Peace.